Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is use the pliers, and on the inside of your cans, you're just going to pinch down that little, kind of like little lip where you rip the top off. If you have a different kind, you obviously you can skip the step, but I just have a regular can opener. So you just pinch it from the outside as much as you can. You can always put duct tape or something over on the inside if you really want to, or you can cover it with hot glue just over that little nub in there, so you can't cut it, so it won't cut anybody. And then on this last one. The last one that I have here, it's just a standard one, so it doesn't have a piece for it. So now you're going to just go ahead and take all the labels off. Some of them do have, some of them do come off quite easily, and some of them don't. So it just depends on which one you have. Like this one here, it's got a lot of glue on it, a lot of sticky stuff on it, so it's going to come off in just a whole bunch of pieces. It's kind of the annoying part, I would say. Of it all, but you don't have to get all of it off. What you just want to make sure that you get off is all the loose paper. So anything that's just kind of a free-floating piece, of course it's going to stick to your hands, you just want to get off the loose pieces, like the bigger pieces, because obviously if you paint over the top of that, the paint's just going to come right off. So some of them come off quite easy, like this one here is not bad, not a lot of glue on that one. Alright, so once you have all the cans cleaned up, you're just going to flip them over. You want to stack them upside down like that so they don't fill up with anything or anything like that. So I'm just going to obviously pick one. Don't need them all right now. I'm just going to pick one, and you can see that some of these are really sticky. It's almost like a sticker on there. Just paint right over the top of that. You don't have to worry about getting that off. If you did want to go ahead and get that off, you can use glue gun if you want, but you have to make sure that you remove all the oily residue that it leaves behind. So you can paint anything on here that you want. You can paint them all just a bunch of different colors. You can do something really creative. I'm just going to go ahead and paint this first one all blue. And you can see it later down to the video. It just goes really fast. You can just kind of watch me paint, but you can certainly do whatever creative things that you want to do. So when you paint these, you want to use either a foam brush, or I have a pretty wide flat tip brush, and you want to turn it upside down, so you're going to kind of stick your hand in that hole. Again, make sure you don't cut yourself. And when you do it, you don't want to use the tip of the brush. You want to kind of lay it flat and glide it over the top of the brush. If you use the tip or the end of the bristles, it actually is going to remove the paint. So unless you use some kind of primer or something on these, you're just going to get kind of a rough color like that. You can obviously see the tin through it. But if you use kind of the edge of the paintbrush, like the top and the bottom like that, you can kind of see that it covers a little bit better than if you do it with the tip of the bristles. If you don't like this see-through look, you can certainly just paint it. Wait till it dries and paint it again, and paint it again, and paint it again. You can also use spray paint if you want, if you're just going to do them solid colors. You can certainly just use spray paint. I didn't want to invest in doing that because I only have orange, so I didn't want to worry about that, but you certainly can go that route if you'd like. The hardest part is getting it off your hand once you've painted the whole thing. So I'm just going to go through the rest of these. I'm not going to talk too much about them. Make sure you shake all your paints before you go ahead. Some paints will cover better than others. If you're going to do this one here, I'm doing a color blocking on this one, so I'm going to do just this middle part, kind of a medium shade of purple. You want to wait till it's dry until you do the adjacent colors, unless you're impatient like me and don't care if they blend a little bit. Then you can go ahead and do anything next to it, or come back and do your touch-ups later, whatever it is that you'd like. Trying to find my purples here. So the top ring, I'm going to put a dark purple on it. And this one doesn't cover very well. It's pretty transparent. So you can certainly paint that again if you don't like how that looks. But again, I'm just doing this for a fun game. I'm not going to be too concerned about it. So I'm just going to kind of make sure I don't have a lot of brush strokes, because then it'll look, just a little silly in my opinion. But you certainly can do it however you want. And on the bottom, I'm going to put a really light pink color. So this is in honor of my kids liking Rapunzel. That is their favorite princess. So it's kind of a Rapunzel look. And I didn't actually know that until after I was done painting, where they said, "Mom, it looks like Rapunzel." So there you go. I'm going to come back and paint the edges of this one, but that dark purple isn't quite dry. So I'm just going to touch it up with a dark purple on the top and then come back later and fix that. So this is kind of a metallic-y teal, and then just a regular yellow. You can use anything that you have, and of course just white. Let's get a little extra of that paper off there you didn't get first time. And you can do any techniques on yours that you want. You don't have to copy what I'm doing. You can certainly just do your own creations. That's why I have it kind of fast forwarded, because you don't really, maybe not care necessarily what designs I'm doing, but you can kind of get inspired perhaps. I am just eyeballing these. I'm just kind of making it, approximate. If you wanted to be a little bit more precise, you certainly can use a Sharpie on here, or you can draw your designs out with a Sharpie. If you use rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip or a cotton ball, you can actually go over and erase it after, just wipe it on there and it'll take the permanent marker off. So you can, if you want to, you can certainly go that route, or you can just paint right over the permanent marker. Can't guarantee that your paint will cover the marker if you just want to paint over the top of it, but that could be kind of a cool effect if that's what you want to go for. So on this one, I'm going to do, we have our Netflix account, and our little character, our little emoji guy, whatever you want to call him, or icon, I guess you could call him, is like this, almost like a incredible superhero. So I'm going to go ahead and paint something that's similar to what he looks like for our icon, for our family. Again, I'm kind of impatient. I'm not going to wait for the flesh color to dry. You certainly can. There's always a chance you can mix your paint, by just brushing next to another wet paint, but I don't really care too much. I'm just going to graze across these little grooves, and I'm not going to paint way down inside, so it's going to give it kind of a cool look, where it's just going to paint the top of the grooves, and the inside or the bottom valley is going to be just the regular tin color. So it gives it, again, I'm not going for perfection here, it's just kind of a general application, so I'm kind of just trying to show a little bit of the silver through there. So this one I'm going to just do all green. And the green covers pretty well, so I don't really, not too concerned about that one. And again, you can go simple on these. You don't have to go and do characters or, theme of any kind. You can just do them all different colors. It's entirely up to you. You can do initials. You can do like tin, but hammering. Metal hammering, so if you use like a little, I don't know, a nail, I guess would be good, and then a hammer, you can actually just kind of do a design with that kind of a poke thing, where you poke through the metal. That might be good. You can certainly do that. This one on here, I'm just going to do the outside edge. I'm going to paint the inside white, but I'm going to wait till the black is dry because I don't want them to blend at all. So that one just has a little simple touch right now. I'll go back to this one here and fill on my inside since the outside two sections are dry. And this is just white. This is standard white. This one here, I'm just going to do some polka dots in different colors. And then I'm going to embellish this one a little bit differently, so it's not just going to be paint. You can have different kinds of things in here, so after this one dries, I'll show you, but you can add anything you want to these things. So if you have feathers, if you have ribbon, whatever it is that you want to add, you can do whatever you like to these. So this one I'm going to add a little bit more after this paint is, these painted polka dots are dry. Alright, so this one here I'm going to add a little bit too, but I'm going to finish off this top here and just come back and touch up that little area next to the dark purple that was a little bit before. And I'm going to go back in here and paint this section white. On this one here, I'm going to do the outline in a Sharpie, and after I did it, I will tell you that the Sharpie will actually scratch the paint off. So I'm going to go ahead and stop doing that, because if you can see on the eyes here where I'm drawing them, I'm just kind of doing it. I thought it'd be a little bit easier, but it actually, with the tin, since it's not an abrased surface, it's very smooth. The tip of the Sharpie is actually just too strong, and it pulls the paint off. So I wouldn't recommend using a Sharpie unless it's directly onto the tin. So I'm just going to go over and paint it with the black and a really thin brush. Alright, so now this one here, I'm going to add some little rickrack type ribbon. So it's going to be kind of like Rapunzel's hair, I guess. Just use a little bit of hot glue on that one, and then I'm just going to wrap it around, and then hot glue the very end of it as well. You don't have to put any glue in the middle if you don't want to. It's up to you how you want to do it. If you're going to paint any more on it though, you will want to make sure that you get all of the hot glue, like little strings, off of there. Otherwise, when you try to paint over it, it'll just, brush around like a piece of hair or something. So you want to make sure you pull all that off. So I think that one looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to add the embellishments to the blue one. Again, I'm just going to hot glue them on. They're sparkly, like pom-pom thingies, so they're pretty cool. I'm not going to put any on the top because obviously you're going to want to stack the cans. And then this one here, I'm just going to add a little bit of a copper detail to the higher parts, the ridges of this section. I'm not going to go down in the valley. I'm just going to add a little pop that kind of goes over all the colors to kind of pull it all together. I think I'm going to flip it to the other side and I think I'm going to, actually I'll just do the bottom here. I don't really want to do every single one of them, so I'll just do the top 5 and the bottom 5. And then I'll do the other section. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm just going to add a little bit of a copper detail around this top ridge here. I'm just going to work in little sections. It makes it a little bit easier to paint versus trying to go in one swoop all the way around. So just do as far as your hand is comfortable moving and then turn the can. It's going to give you just a little bit better coverage, I guess. Alright, so this guy, I'm just going to do kind of a silly screamy face, like, wah! So he's just going to have kind of a yelling, like, oh my goodness, type of face on him. And I'll draw his bugged out eyes up here. Or I should say paint, not draw. I'll wait for that to dry before I do the inside. And then I'm going to turn this into a checkered flag because we are a dirt track racing family. So we're going to do a checkered flag here on this one. And I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not measuring or counting the ridges or anything like that. I'm just kind of trying to space them sort of evenly, I guess. You can do it however you want. If you decide to attempt a flag of some kind or some kind of checkerboard pattern, it's up to you. Now I'm going to do the vertical lines here. Again, I'm going to do kind of the same evenly spaced columns left to right that I did up and down. So it's approximately the same. And again, I'm just eyeballing it. I'm going to go back and color in the black areas. It's easy to get messed up, like right there I just did the wrong one, so I'll come back and fix that after it's dried. I'm going to do the inside of his eyes here. I'm going to paint the top of that chevron, the one that I started on the front of his face. I'm going to draw the rest of it on the top of what would be the helmet area. So that's the last detail I'm going to do on this piece. Alright, so I'm going to do these last couple details on his eyes here. Looks pretty cute. I'm going to go back and finish this little section that I messed up on here. My white happens to cover pretty well, so I kind of like that one. So now this, all of my pieces are completely finished. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to seal it with Mod Podge. The only reason I'm going to do that is so that because the paint actually will chip off very, very easily. If you just brush it really hard with your finger, it actually will take the paint off. So again, using a wider flat brush, I'm just going to apply the paint the same way that you have been this whole time, where you're kind of using the flat side instead of the tip of the bristle. And you can just do what the paint is, or you can do the whole can. If you want to use some kind of a spray sealer, you certainly can do that. Just be aware that even if you do use the Mod Podge, it will actually still scratch over time. So these are not 100% durable. This is just kind of a fun little game where you can do something really quick. You can do this with your kids. Everybody can paint, one can or whatever it is that you want. And then you just want to make sure you go ahead and let that dry, obviously, before you start painting. Obviously, you want to make sure that the paint is completely dry before you start putting this on there. Otherwise, you're just going to smear it, of course. So for the ones that have embellishments on it, you can actually put some of the Mod Podge directly around it or over the top of it. For these pom-poms, I'm actually not going to put it on top of there, of course, because I like the fuzzy look. But I'm not going to be too concerned about the fact that I have any of it on the actual pom-pom. I'm just going to make sure I get all the paint and just kind of get as close to the pom-pom as I can without completely covering it. But on this one has that ribbon on there. I'm just going to go right over the top, just for simplicity's sake. It's kind of a wonky ribbon. There's really no reason to be careful with that, I guess, as far as getting Mod Podge on it or not. Everything dries clear, so you won't see it. You obviously don't want thick gobs of it everywhere, but just go right over the top. It's totally fine. Once you've got that done, you're ready to enjoy your game. Find some soft balls, like stress-type balls, and then set them up on a place, like the grass, or if you're using this indoors, where they can fall onto something soft like the carpet. It helps the cans not chip as often. And then all you have to do is find some willing players.
Nice!
So truly, mixed media can be anything. In this case, it's just paint, embellishments, and tin cans. I hope that you enjoyed this class today, and I hope that you have a great time playing this brand new DIY mixed media carnival game. Thanks for joining me.